Greetings, Father Campo here. I'm sorry for my subscribers to the YouTube channel. You may have been hoping for a new reflection, but instead I need to give my annual parish address on the state of our finances. I sure hope that maybe some of you may pray for us or consider contributing, but this address is for my parish. You may remember that last year, about this time, we gave an annual financial address. It's a little behind for when we got our numbers, but it is in line with when we gave the address last year. You also recall that I was looking at a rather hefty deficit last year, and I asked you to consider increasing your giving, and many of you did. It increased the giving here at St. Peter's about 500 and something dollars a week and 2,000-ish a month, and at St. David's about $80 a week. Altogether at St. Peter's, that reduced our deficit by about $11,000. So we were only $6,000 in the red. However, I need to say a few things about St. David's to help us appreciate that better. As you all know, St. David's is our mission church, or a chapel, as we all just call it St. David's Chapel. They are a missionary chapel. Historically, these are usually founded by a parish in order to meet a missionary need in the area. Like if you had Indians, 100 years ago, Indians down the bayou that needed a priest but couldn't afford it, a parish would take on that work as a work of the parish. We also know that St. David's was founded by Father Garneau, a little bit with a disagreement with the neighboring pastor. So it has a little bit of a different history, but it has a unique place and a character of our parish. But as a mission church, it's not a parish, but it does have a bank account that the offerings, Sunday offerings at St. David's go into, and they have their own insurance policy. But I discovered in the financial crisis we had several years ago in 2015 that St. David's had not in the past contributed towards the priest's salary and board, or the office staff who were helping the whole parish, or the catechism program directly. So at that time, we instituted a sharing of expenses between the two, and that helped us tremendously when the school was still open and our ability to raise money was limited. And when the school closed, we continued that, and it helped us stay in a good place. But this has begun to be a very big drain on St. David's. Now, they had quite a bit in savings from just having minor expenses over the years. But to give you an idea, last year, St. David's contributed $33,000 in shared expenses with St. Peter Parish. And in order to keep up with that, they drew $21,000 out of their savings, but it ended up about $20,000 of that was used. So if you put their deficit of negative $20,000 together with our deficit of $6,000 at St. Peter's, that means the whole parish was short $26,000 for the past fiscal year. I'm sure you can appreciate that this is not a sustainable place for us to be in. We do have that help right now at St. David's, and we have a little bit in the parish, but we're not going to last long doing that. So what can we do about it? Well, obviously the biggest immediate help is to increase the Sunday offerings. Now, I understand everyone is in the situations that they're in. Some of you have had trouble with work. I haven't had trouble with work, but I'm not in the place financially that I have been in the past in the parish. So I'll have to look at my own budget to see what I can do to increase my giving. And that's all I'm asking, is that everyone consider what they're able to give, especially if you haven't given anything before. I ask you to pray about it first. Look at your budget and consider with the Lord that you might be able to give something. Every little bit helps. If you have been giving in the past, just again, prayerfully consider if you are able to give anything further. To give you an idea how all of us together can go a long way, if 50 people increase their offering $20 a week, that would more than meet our deficit for the last year. In fact, it would raise about $52,000 for the year. In the end, a small group is always going to bear the lion's share of the giving and the budget of a parish or any organization. That's just kind of how things are. But if we all put together what we are able, it makes a big difference. Now, that's not the only thing we're going to do. That's just the immediate appeal that I'm making to you. And I do want you to pray for our parish also. We have a plan that we're working on to reduce or eliminate the debt from our parish renovation, because that's the biggest drain on our finances, top line number. We still owe about $270,000, which ends up being about $27,000 a year and about $2,300 a month. I'm missing the exact figure in front of me. So eliminating that would just about take care of our deficit. We have a plan in the works for that. We're not quite ready to announce it. There's a few pieces that need to be finished together before we announce it to the parish. So be on the lookout for that and pray for that and keep these things in mind. I just wanted this weekend give you a state of where we are, kind of give you the facts, ask you to begin to pray and consider where you're at. And last, I want to come back to the idea of this being a crisis, because it is. Let's be fair. This is a very serious situation, and the fact that we kind of keep getting in this place is concerning. I want to point out that a large part of this is our demographics. I do a lot more funerals than I do baptisms. It's not a place we want to be in, because what we're doing is we're drawing more and more financially on fewer and fewer people. So we do need to try to find it in ourselves to meet this situation, but it also points out we need to start asking ourselves, what is God's mission for us as a parish today? We are not the same St. Peter's and St. David's that we were 30 years ago. Our mayor has been trying and making efforts to have reasons for people to come to Gaydon, the different fairs and other activities. Well, we need to do the same for our parish. Why should someone want to become a parishioner here at St. Peter's? And I ask you, what do we do for the community? I don't think we do enough for the community. I don't have an answer today of what more that we could do, but I do think God has a plan for us to do more than we're doing now and be of better service to the community and be a place that people want to come and bring their children and their families. But for today, I will say this. The Holy Family was the perfect family, but it doesn't mean they were without difficulties. They too had many financial crises in their life. They had to become refugees and go to Egypt. Joseph had no prospects for work. So if you will, he lost his job, had to go to a foreign land, didn't know anyone, and now he had to find not only a job, a new set of tools, a new everything. I can imagine many days coming home, he was very uncertain about what he was going to do. And yet, what we see of their holiness isn't the lack of suffering, but rather that they suffered and how they rose to the occasion. Every crisis is an opportunity. This is theologically true, but I found it so in my life. I have learned to see the crises and the things very difficult to bear as an opportunity, because it's in those moments I learn to trust God. Whereas before, everything's under control, I think I can handle it without God. Reality is, I can't do anything without Him. And the crisis that I face helped me to realize my need for God, to rely on Him more. And in the end, I can say with certainty that I learned from those difficult situations in my life things that I otherwise could never have learned. And so I'm actually grateful for them. So in this crisis that faces our parish, it is an opportunity for us to find a new mission with God. And I want us to begin to pray about that. I've been praying for it, and I want to invite you to pray about it, and we shall continue together. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, may God bless and keep you.